Hello everyone, and it's another great day for it. And we've had a lot of time, and today's a Tuesday. If you're new to the show, this is myself, Redmond, and my father, Martin.
Yes.
It's fuzzy hair.
With my fuzzy beardy type thing. No, leave my head and hairs alone.
See after you're sick.
I'm not sick, would you wish? Okay, so we've got a good bit to get through today.
Yes, we do.
How was your weekend?
Good.
And what big news from yesterday for you? Search down.
Down.
You're back in school.
Yes.
There you
I'm
go.
back in school.
And were you playing football when you got back to school? Yes, okay. Well, let's have a look first at the results. We've got results in our results extra page. Here are the main results of the weekend. Wydad Casablanca won 1-0 against Petro Atletico Luanda, which is no surprise. But Horoya AC drew 2-2 with Kaiser Chiefs, having been a goal up twice. The equaliser from Kaiser Chiefs, however, means that Kaiser Chiefs go through on away goals in that fixture. Apparently, in the CAF Champions League, you don't go through on goal difference. You go through on goal difference in the fixtures between the two teams in question. Firstly, who scored more goals. Secondly, who has... I can't remember what the second one,
Has
but the
more
third
points.
most points between the two in results. Then who scored more goals between the two, and then on away goals. And Kaisers have 2 away goals. Horoya have none. Horoya go out even though they've got a +1 goal difference. Scored more goals and conceded fewer or something like that than Kaisers. But Kaisers go through, as do Wydad Casablanca. And I very quickly looked this up. The teams now through to the quarterfinals, there's only 8 teams left, are Simba from Tanzania, Mamelodi Sundowns and Kaisers, both from South Africa, Al-Ahli from Egypt, Wydad from Casablanca, Esperance de Tunis from Tunisia, and 2 teams from Algeria, CR Belouizdad, I'm bowdlerising that, sorry, and MC Alger. The fun one is MC Alger and Esperance de Tunis go through at the expense of El Zamalek when the 2 teams played out a very, very pointed 1-1 draw in the last game between Esperance and MC Alger. All my Egyptian friends are going, well, all my Zamalek supporting Egyptian friends are going mad that Zamalek were cheated out of the place, while I'm sure my Al-Ahli friends are going, heh, 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 heh. Anyway, back to the results. The draw will be made for that soon. Sydney FC women lost to Melbourne Victory. Who would have thought that? 1-0 in the final.
I thought Cindy would win.
They should have won, but I had a feeling that Melbourne Victory were getting getting their timing right, and they did win in the end. HJK hammered Inter Turku, which is it's a pre-season thing, so I'm not going to worry as much. Waterford were leading by a goal against Finn Harps, only to lose. And Racing Louisville came from a goal up and a goal behind to get a 2-2 draw in a cracking game. Wasn't that a good game?
It was a good game.
It was a good game. We'll look at the other games.
At the last second of the match, they scored a goal.
Yeah, 2 goals in the last few minutes to take it from 1-1 to 2-2. We will look at the other NWSL games, or Challenge Cup games, shortly. Liverpool beat Aston Villa 2-1.
That's good.
Real Madrid beat Barcelona 2-1, which puts them in slightly more the driving seat of the 2 teams in terms of trying to catch Atletico, but still all to play for. I think there's only a point between them all now. And Juventus walloped Genoa 3-1 at the weekend.
And all together of the right scores, I win 1-0.
You got that one correct, yes.
Just the final minutes.
But in terms of, let's see, you got one all correct. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 results correct. Or 5 which way it went. Which I think is a little bit more than you.
And how many did you get?
Quite a few. I got 5 of them right. And you got 1... 2, 3 right. So depending on which way you look
I
at
mean
it,
by like exact scores.
none, but I got the right win. The winners correct. Let's have a look at the other Champions League, or not Champions League, Challenge Cup games. Would you join us in here? Where are you going?
I'm just trying to get my seat in a better place.
Scoreless draw between Houston Dash and Chicago Red Stars. Quite unremarkable in many ways.
I got that one right.
Quite a remarkable game between the Thorns and Kansas City. We don't have a name yet. Put your shirt down. Which ended up with 4 players getting sent off. Thorns, I think, had more players sent off than Kansas. So that's fun. That could be interesting in the main season.
And looks like Washington Spirit can't get really that much, but there's Carolina smart just gets a win off them.
Yeah. And then the 2-2 draw, which means that I got 1, 2, 3 scores right. Redmond got 1, 2, 3. No, you got 2 scores right. Anyway.
That was a really close 3-2 again.
So let's move on to our previews.
Yeah.
We're going to start.
If you just added that to whole thing, you'd actually, I think, just win against you.
It doesn't really matter now, does it? No, it doesn't even remotely really matter. So let us check. Stop. Go easy now. Stop the banging of the everythings. Let's have a look at some of our previews. So the first preview we're going to look at this week is Europa League. Champions League. No, we'll save Champions League till the end. Oh dear. Looks like I got... Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why I've got Borussia Dortmund there on top. I'm missing the Man United. Well, we'll talk about that later. But we'll start then. Also on the 15th of the 4th at 21 hours CET, not 14th of the 4th. We'll say that's Manchester United hosting Granada. Then we've got Roma hosting Ajax. Man United 2-0 up on Granada. Roma 2-1 up on Ajax. Slavia Prague drawing 1-1 with Arsenal. And Villarreal are 1-0 up on Dinamo Zagreb. Now, looking very quickly through these games and the details on them, Ajax had the lead. They were a goal up against Roma and they fell apart. Roma should be fancied here at home. Arsenal are going to kick themselves because they only got a draw against what should sound like a weaker team, but they are actually, in fact, much better than people think. Who'd have thought that people would overestimate an English team? This will be a theme. Now for the other leg, away in Prague. No, thank you, Redmond. Please stop. Arsenal missing Saka, Luiz, Tierney, Odegaard, and Aubameyang. They're all gone for the second leg. Dinamo Zagreb finally got a bit of air in the league this week. They only played one game, but it seems like Osijek drew one and lost the other because now they've got a game in hand, Zagreb, and they've got 2 points of a lead. Villarreal lost their game at the weekend, I think, to Osasuna, and they're in 7th now, but they've 7 points clear on Granada. They're probably going to be okay for the the Europa League. Unai Emery, who's managing Villarreal, was also manager of Arsenal, and they will face each other in the semi-final if both win. As regards Granada, both sides and Man U, both sides look injury hit. Man United have not been good at home this year, but they look like they'll probably have enough to go through with the 2-0 win. But it does mean Granada might go all out. This is their first real season of any success in Europe, so it should be exciting. So, Redmond, let's have a look at the scores, and you might actually pay attention to what we're doing for a change. Roma against Ajax.
2-0 Roma.
I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Slavia Prague against Arsenal.
1-0 Arsenal.
Okay, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw there as well, and I think that's going to go to extra time and possibly penalties. Villarreal against Dinamo Zagreb.
1-1.
Okay, and I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Zagreb.
Man United, Granada, 3-0 Man United.
You think they're really going to hammer through?
Yeah.
I think it's going to end up 1-1, but I think it's going to be a more exciting game than some. Okay, so that is our first round of fixtures. Well done on getting through everything so quickly there. We'll click that off. Mind your knees, and we'll click on...
Look, my hands, they're new.
Yeah. And we're going to look now at the Asian Champions League, Group E. It starts this weekend, this week, except it doesn't. Part of it starts this week. There have been preliminaries, and this is... Please don't touch the microphone. Please sit easy. What is that? And this is basically the first round of group stage games for the Eastern half. They're all starting this week on the 14th or the 15th. Thank you for your added contributions. Now, things need to be noted. Firstly, let me show you the full look at the table. Where's the special bit? There we go. So, you can see the teams here. We've got Persepolis being Iranian. Al-Wahda are Emirati. Right, are you... Should I just go?
No.
Okay, please. Don't be a jerk
FC
again.
Go.
FC Goa are hosting, and Al Rayyan of Qatar are there as well. So Goa being Indian, they're hosting 6 games. So they're playing it in one pitch the whole time. Are you going?
No.
You're just trying to gather more attention. I know if you want to gather more attention on this video, you should do some research and have something to say, shouldn't you? Wouldn't that be an easier way of getting attention?
Yeah.
With value. Yeah, they're playing each other twice, but they're all playing in one place, and they're playing over 2 weeks. So first game's on the 14th, last game's on the 29th. Except not for everybody. Only Goa are playing Al-Wahda on the 29th. It's intrigue. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm completely wrong. Either way, they're both playing. They're playing 6 games in basically 2 weeks.
6 games in 2 weeks, folks.
Yeah, 14
games in 2 weeks.
Don't shout into the microphone. Or grunt at the microphone. Okay, so the details about this that I have is basically, East Asia is starting their groups in June. So
Sorry.
I don't have to do this. I don't have to spend a couple of hours preparing this. Do you want to stop? You don't? Then maybe join in. Contribute. Thank you.
East Asia to start.
Groups in June. So they're playing playoffs still this week, but some of the groups only have 2 or 3 teams in it at the moment. There are 10 groups. So the winners of all the groups go through, and then the 6 best runners up go through as well, which is a bit crazy. Persepolis were last year's runners-up in the AFC, in the Champions League in Asia, and they were runners-up as well in 2018, and they were in the semis in 2017. You can stop fiddling now. I mean, I'm ready to walk away. You're being really, really extra today. Sorry, yeah. Maybe next time you could do some of the research you keep talking about doing, and then you'd have something to contribute. Persepolis have played Al-Wahda like 4 times in the Champions League, and they've won 2 of those games, drawn one, another, and what have they done in the other? Yeah, Al-Wahda have been 12 times in the Champions League. They withdrew from last year's, oddly enough. But they've been in it, all their appearances have been since 2004, and their best was the semis in 2006, which is a long time ago now, as you can imagine. As regards Goa and Al Rayyan, this is a big deal for Goa. It's their first time in the AFC's Champions League, or I think in any AFC competitions. This is the 6th time in in the Champions League for Al Rayyan, and they've got to be reasonably optimistic, but it's hard to know. Goa are noobs. Redmond, what do you think is going to happen? Persepolis against Al-Wahda.
0. 0.
Okay, and Goa against Al Rayyan.
1-0. I bet Go. I think Go's is going to put out their best team and really try their best, and I think they'll do a lot. But they just let through 1 goal.
Okay, well, I think there will be 1 goal in that game, and I think it's going to go to Goa, who are the home team. I think by the end of the week, the amount of times they'll have been playing in Goa, it might be a different matter for them. Persepolis, I think, are going to win 2-0. Okay, so let's go off this and go on to section 3, which is a couple of the women's games. And we've got 2, and they're both on today at 20 hours and 21 hours 10 Central European Time. Switzerland play the Czech Republic in the last of the women's Euro qualifiers, and France played the USA in an international friendly. Go on, you were going to say?
Well, before we get into this, like the video, subscribe and hit that bell. Hit
Okay.
Ding.
Ding indeed.
Ding, ding,
So,
ding,
let's
ding,
start
ding.
with the qualifier. There's 3 qualifiers on today for the Euros. We have currently taking place, it's full time between Russia and Portugal. It was 0-0, which means that Russia go through. Later on this evening at 20 hours 45, Northern Ireland host Ukraine. They've got 2-1 lead on this. It should have been the Republic of Ireland in that game against Northern Ireland, but c'est la vie, c'est la guerre. And this one is Switzerland against the Czech Republic. Now, the Czech Republic have hosted the last game. They drew 1-1, having gone a goal up in 49 minutes from a penalty. A late penalty made the difference for Switzerland. To be honest, Switzerland will be pretty happy with that draw. Score a goal away from home, and now they host. As regards France and the US, again, it's only an international friendly, but they're big teams. The US played Sweden in Sweden on, what day was it? On Thursday or Friday. And they drew 1-1, coming from behind when Sweden went to goal up through Hurtig, the Juventus player. The equaliser was a late penalty taken by Megan Rapinoe, so the US would hope to have done better in that game than they did. But again, it's away, it's difficult, it's an odd time of the season. France, meanwhile, beat England 3-1 on Thursday, and it looked like it was a fairly easy win. France get Le Sommer back, who was missed for COVID, and Dal Camper is back in the defence for the US. They might cancel each other out. It'll be interesting to see. The US has only beaten France once in recent years in France, and that was
in the Women's World Cup.
Correct. That is accurate, Redmond. So it should be an interesting one. Redmond, let's start with Switzerland against the Czech Republic.
I think it's going to be 200 Czech Republic.
Czechia, yeah.
Czechia.
And I think Switzerland are going to win 2-0 and qualify for the European Championships. And the friendly game, what do you think is going to happen there?
I think you guys have a good team. Just going to win against them 3-1.
Well, they will have had more time to acclimate to European time zone, but I still think it's not going to be enough for them. And I'm going to say 1-1 to France. France are on a good run at the moment. Finally, what do you think we've got to talk about next?
The champions.
You can see up there on the screen the days and the times. You can see what the current score is in the tie. And we are going to start with what's probably the best game, and the game I'm certainly looking forward to watching this evening, which is Paris Saint-Germain against Bayern Munich. It was a great game the last day. It was such a good game. Do you remember it?
Oh my God, that was so good.
Let go of my hair. Let go of my hair. Paris are missing Marquinhos and Icardi, while Bayern are missing Tolisso, Diego Costa, Sule, Lewandowski and Gnabry. So they're missing a lot of players here. What do you... yeah, we'll come back to that. Porto playing Chelsea and they're 2-1 up. Chelsea have been grinding out the results and grinding through everything, so I can't see them not getting through this. Redmond, please, if you'd like to. Christian Pulisic is becoming much more of a force there in the last couple of weeks, so I would hope he will start if he's not injured or something.
That would be terrible.
Yep. Porto are catching up on Sporting in the league in Portugal. Sporting have drawn their last 2 games, and that means that there's only a 6-point gap there now. It's becoming far more exciting than I wanted it to be. Whoever wins, this is going to be the first time in the semis for ages for either one. I think neither have been in the semis since they last won it each, which was 2004 and 2011 or 12 respectively. Redmond, you're going to say?
And also in 2020.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure that adds up. So, Real Madrid against Liverpool. Now, this was the big game, one of the big games last week. I personally fancy the winner of this tie to get to the final. They're playing the winners of Chelsea and Porto, I should say, and I can see Liverpool or Real having more than enough for whoever they face. Once again, it's the same injuries for both sides, notably the centre-backs, and Varane and Ramos, Matip, Gomez and Van Dijk all missing. And again, Liverpool still missing loads of players for reasons that are not to be understood. It's a big ask to be 2 goals down against Real Madrid with the home leg coming up. But it's not impossible for Liverpool. Either team could win this. This game could go either way, and I think it's going to be a very exciting game tomorrow night. Yeah. Finally, Manchester City against Borussia Dortmund reversed the results at the weekend. Dortmund won away while City lost at home. It's not worth worrying about these league results, but I do note that Borussia Dortmund did much better last week in Manchester than they were expected to, and I think there's been a lot of expectation of Manchester City to be better than they might be because they're playing in England. I don't think Dortmund are missing Witsel, Jadon Sancho and Marco Reus, while Manchester City are only doubtful on Emerick Laporte and Sergio Aguero, both of whom they can probably live without too much damage. Again, I don't think Gabby Jesus is nearly as good as Sergio Aguero, but, he's a decent player. This shouldn't be a big problem for Manchester City, the way that people spoke, but you see the game last week and you think they could have failed to get to win that game. They should make the semi-finals against Bayern or Paris Saint-Germain, but I think whoever gets through there, and you'll hear who I think it's going to be there, is going to knock them out. Redmond, stop throwing yourself against me and tell me, Paris Saint-Germain against Bayern Munich.
PSG 2. Bayern Munich 1.
I'm going to go 3-1 for that one. Chelsea against Porto.
1-0 on Chelsea.
I'm going to go for 2-0 to make it a 4-0, 4-1 on aggregate. Liverpool against Real.
0-2 Real Madrid.
A 2-0 win to Real Madrid. You make it very hard to understand sometimes. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Liverpool, and that last goal coming late on in the game to break hearts. That's how Real Madrid tend to do it. And Borussia Dortmund against Manchester City.
1-1.
Okay, I'm going to say 0-0. I wanted to say 1-1, but you really are not very nice some of the time. Anyway, those are our predictions for the week. Redmond, what's your favourite game of the week? The week coming up. What do you think is going to be the most excitement?
I think it's literally, I don't know why, but France-US.
France-US. Funny that.
They're just both 2 big teams, but I just think US has won the cup that many times. 4.
Yeah, it's an international friendly. I'm going to go with Paris Saint-Germain against Bayern Munich tonight being the game of games to watch. But, there's plenty of games. Here's our previews. Redmond, do you want to take us out?
Bye, everyone, on Redmond's Football Report.